Hello everyone, as you know it's the end of January, which makes it my first month on YouTube, and I'm proud of myself. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I've had a lot of problems with self-image and also depression, which has made it really hard for me to both make videos and get into reading again. So I'm really happy with what I did this month. I read 9 books as of now, and yeah, I think that's pretty impressive for someone who hasn't really read a lot since 6th grade. So, why don't I talk about them? The first book I read this year, as if you've seen any of my videos, but especially the review of this book, you'll know that I started off my year with a disappointing read, and I'm not going to go into it because I've said everything I need to say. If you want to know what I felt about this book, go to the review. But to make it short, I didn't like it. Another good thing about me reading books I don't like is that they don't always put me off of reading. They usually make me want to read something I know I'll like better, which in this case it was Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. I thought it was funny. It's kind of the anti-Fault in Our Stars, which is a book I didn't like. So, I liked it. I thought it was funny. Earl's my favorite character. So if you're looking for a funny book, recommend this one. The next book I read was Princess at the Midnight Ball by Jessica Day George. This is a fairy tale retelling of 12 Dancing Princesses story, which I appreciated that they went for one that's a little bit more obscure compared to Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast. I believe this is in a series, or at least books that are related with each other. But I thought it was good. I don't read a lot of fantasy, and I thought this was good for a fantasy book. I liked the main character, I liked some of the imagery. All in all, I think I gave it 4 stars. The next book I read is pretty popular. It's Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. I'm not a big fan of books that people say are light and fluffy and summery, and when I heard all the hype around this book, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna hate this. But I didn't. I thought it was really good. Yeah, it's pretty good if you're looking for maybe a fluffy contemporary read that's a little less fluff. I'd go for this one. I think it's pretty good. Next is another disappointing read, I'd say, and it's Persuaded from the Jane Austen Diaries. This is a modernization, teenagerization of Jane Austen books by Jenny James. I think this is the 3rd book, but since they're not continuous story, I don't think it really matters what order you read it in. I didn't like this. I thought the characters were so boring, and I swear, this girl, her inner monologue just never shuts up. Like, stop thinking for once. Anyway, I've never had the urge to read Jane Austen ever, and these books definitely don't make me want to. So, continuing with the trends of books that are really good after I read disappointing books, I'm the Messenger by Marcus Zusak. I picked this up recently, and I read it in a few days, and oh my gosh, it's so good. Like, if you look at my favorite shelf, it's right here. You'll see the book thief. Yes. I freaking love that book. But it's not the same genre, so it was a little bit weird, like, how is he gonna write a contemporary? And then he does it. The style is new, so it took me a little while to get used to it. But once I did, I was eating this book up. It is so good. Read it. Read it. The next book I read was Coraline by Neil Gaiman, and it's a pretty short book, and everyone knows the movie and how good it is. And I didn't hate this book, but you can definitely tell it's a kid's book. Yeah, the way it's written, you can tell it's for younger audiences looking for a creepier story than usual, and in that respect, I like it, but at the same time, I'm just like, meh. So. The next book needs no introductions. It's Matched by Ellie Condi. I don't know. It's actually an arc. I don't know where I got it from. Found it in my mom's bookshelf. I have no idea where she got it from. So, could be from anywhere. But I already knew that people didn't like the second two books in the trilogy, and I wasn't really planning to read them anyway. But as a book, I think it's meh. I don't like dystopians. This wasn't any better. I wasn't a fan of any of the characters, but it was okay writing, and the premises isn't awful. I don't think I'm going to read the other two books series, but then again, I was never planning to, so it's not a big loss. The last book I read in January is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. This is a very popular book, and the hype did not live up for me. The main character, Lara Jean, she writes love letters to guys that she likes but doesn't want to like anymore. That's a really interesting premise. You can do a lot with that. I was really hoping this would be like more of a mystery mixed with romance as she tries to figure out who does it. But it's not. It gets tossed to the side. It's barely more than a little inconvenience. And frankly, I found her immature and childish, and like the whole fact that she's 16, which is how old I am, and she still calls her dad daddy is really weird to me. I don't know any teenager who would still call their parents that. I like the love interest okay, although Josh was starting to get on my nerves. And I read a few reviews once I was almost done with it, and they said the person who sent the letters is exactly who you think it is. And it is. Yeah. So much for a mystery. I plan to read Yes, I Still Love You, but I do not have the highest expectations anymore. So that is all I have to share today. Those are all the books I read in January. I don't have a steady TBR going for a month. I just add whatever I want to read, and then I eventually get to it. So I don't know if I'm going to make a February TBR video, because I don't like to hold myself to it. But yeah, I really proud of myself for this first month. So anyway, if you like this video and you'd like to see more, like video, comment on it if you have anything to add. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.